We all know light pollution as that big city glow that blocks our view of the night sky. But to find out more about the science of light pollution, I sat down with Vanderbilt astronomy professor David Weintraub and asked, what is light pollution?
Light pollution happens because light from street lights, house lights, airplane lights, whatever lights down on the ground, go up into the atmosphere, and the atmosphere scatters the light. So the molecules in the atmosphere scatter the light around. That's why the sky is blue in the daytime. That's sunlight being scattered around. So you can think of daytime as being the ultimate in light pollution, because you can't see through the atmosphere. There's so much light being scattered. At night, we don't have the sunlight, but we have city lights. And the city lights go up and they scatter around in the atmosphere. So if you're in a city, the sky's bright because the light is reflecting off all those molecules in the atmosphere.
So light pollution is when light from the surface of the Earth gets scattered in the atmosphere, and some light comes back to the surface of the Earth, blocking our view of the night sky. But how does the atmosphere scatter light?
The wavelength of light, blue light, yellow light, green light, is comparable to the size of a molecule, a nitrogen, an N2 molecule, an O2 molecule. And because the light is similar in size to the molecule itself, the light bounces off the molecules in the air. If the constituents of the atmosphere were tiny, tiny little atoms instead of big molecules, they would not reflect red and green light very effectively. Okay? But they'd reflect X-rays. Now, we don't produce a lot of X-rays on the Earth, but the size of the molecule or the size of the atom is related to what size, what wavelengths of light, what colors of light it's good at reflecting.
The molecules of nitrogen and oxygen in our atmosphere are just the right size to scatter visible light, and this causes some of our own light to reflect back to Earth. As someone who grew up in the suburbs with a passing interest in astronomy, I'm very familiar with how light pollution can block our views of the night sky. But as a professional astronomer, Professor Weintraub has spent weeks at some of the world's most remote observatories under the darkest skies. So I had to ask him, what are we missing?
Getting to a very remote site where you can truly see the sky is stunning. It's absolutely stunning. And until you've had that experience, you have no way of understanding what that is like. But once you've had that experience, you can understand what it must have been like thousands of years ago when there were no streetlights. There were maybe a few campfires. And all of our forefathers living in primitive circumstances all around the world, they lived under the stars. Right? They looked up and they saw that every night without any light pollution. And it's pretty awesome. It truly helps you understand how important the sky was and how closely connected ancient peoples were to the sky.
So we're really missing out on something by living how we do.
We are. We have other benefits. We have indoor plumbing, right? That's okay. And we have antibiotics, which might continue to work for a few more years. But we're missing something. We're missing the majesty, the beauty of the universe that people used to live and see. There are people who grow up now who have never seen that kind of sky because they live in cities, they don't travel to distant places, they have no idea what they're missing.
There's even a story that during a 1994 earthquake, the city of Los Angeles lost power, giving many of its city residents their first unpolluted view of the night sky. During this power outage, many people called the police about a strange white cloud in the night sky, unaware that this was really just their own galaxy, the Milky Way, seen for the first time. Light pollution not only affects our views of the universe, but it affects the research of astronomers, who have to deal with light pollution even in the remote observatories. So I asked Professor Weintraub, what can we do to help reduce light pollution?
I'm not sure that me turning off the light in my living room tonight is going to have a huge impact on light pollution. But if every single person in the world turned off one light, that would actually have a big effect. More impactful would be working with local and city governments to reduce the amount of lights we put on our streets and our highways and limit the amount of light we use for outdoor lighting to what we need. We don't need to light up the night. we just need enough light for safety. And no astronomer would say we need to get rid of every outdoor light because we need to be safe. But we don't need as many outdoor lights as we have. Giant billboards lit up 24 hours a day, we don't need those out in remote locations or even in cities. So most cities would save a lot of energy and therefore a lot of money if they had less lighting. And that would cool off cities as well as reduce lighting. That would be a good thing. So there are a lot of advantages to reducing the amount of lighting we use, but that's a hard sell to most people. Most people want to light up the night so they can see as if it's daytime. If you want daytime, go to sleep and wake up when it's daytime.
To learn more about light pollution, consider visiting the website of an interactive map, such as darksitefinder.com, where you can learn more about the extent of light pollution, and you can also find a dark sky location near you. To learn more about the science of light pollution and what you can do to help, consider visiting the website of the International Dark Sky Association. As always, thanks for watching.